Listen up. Nobody's coming to save you. No cavalry, no rescue mission, no magical moment where life just decides to get easier. That's the truth most people don't want to hear, but it's the truth that sets you free. You are alone in the fight, and that's exactly where your power lies. Stop waiting for someone to understand your struggle or hand you a shortcut. That person you're waiting for, they don't exist. You're it. You're the hero, the soldier, the warrior in your story, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll stop wasting time. Life doesn't care about your excuses, and it doesn't owe you a damn thing. The world keeps moving whether you get up or stay down, whether you grind or quit. Pain will come. Setbacks will happen. You will fail again and again. And every time you hit the floor, you've got two choices: stay there and cry about how unfair it is, or get up and go harder. No one is going to lift you up. No one is going to hand you strength. Strength is built when you're on your knees, broken, and you decide to fight anyway. You want to change your life? Stop asking for permission. Stop waiting for the right moment, the right people, the right resources. Take what you've got, your bare hands, your grit, your hunger, and get to work. You're stronger than you think. But you'll never know that strength unless you push yourself into the fire and refuse to back down. It's in those moments when you're out of breath, your muscles are screaming, and your mind is begging you to quit. That's where the magic happens. That's where you meet the person you're meant to become. Don't waste time wishing someone would notice your effort. No one's clapping for you? Good. That means you've got no distractions, no illusions of approval to chase. Let that silence drive you. Let it remind you that you're the one building this life, brick by brick, with blood, sweat, and sacrifice. Because when you make it, every single victory will taste sweeter knowing you earned it alone. So stop waiting. No one's coming to help, but you don't need them. You are the help. You are the answer. You are unstoppable. Now get up and show the world who you are. The truth is hard to swallow, but it's what will set you free. Nobody is coming. There's no knight in shining armor, no miracle worker, no external savior waiting to step into your life and fix it. That fantasy keeps so many people stuck waiting and hoping for someone else to take the reins. But the reality is, this is your fight, your journey, and your responsibility. When you stop expecting help, you start realizing how much power you have. It's liberating because it means you don't need to rely on anyone else. You don't have to wait for the stars to align or for someone to notice your struggle. Everything you need to take control and create change is already within you. It's not about bitterness, it's about clarity. No one is obligated to save you, and that's okay because you are strong enough to save yourself. The moment you internalize this truth, you stop being a victim and start being the architect of your own life. The truth is simple, yet so many people refuse to accept it. No one is coming to pull you out of your struggles. It's harsh, it's raw, but it's real. Waiting for someone to notice your pain, understand your problems, or hand you solutions is a waste of time and energy. The longer you cling to the hope that someone else will fix things for you, the longer you stay stuck in the same place. Life doesn't work that way. The sooner you come to terms with this, the sooner you'll break free from the chains of dependency and start taking ownership of your life. This isn't a message of despair, it's a call to action. When you finally understand that nobody is coming, you stop wasting precious time hoping for external help and start using that time to figure things out for yourself. It's empowering because it puts the ball in your court. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for someone to care. You are the one who cares the most about your life, and that's all that matters. Every second you spend waiting is a second lost. The world keeps moving whether you get up and fight or stay down and complain. No one owes you anything, not success, not happiness, not even a listening ear. That might sting, but it's also freeing. It means you don't need to rely on anyone else to make things happen. You are in control. You are the solution. You have the power to create, to change, to overcome, no matter how bad things seem right now. When you stop waiting for someone to save you, you start building resilience. You become stronger because you know it's all on you. You don't waste energy looking for handouts or sympathy. Instead, you channel that energy into action. You dig deeper, push harder, and figure out ways to move forward. You learn to trust yourself because you're the only one you can count on in the end. This mindset isn't about bitterness or isolation, it's about ownership. It's about recognizing that while you may have supporters, cheerleaders, or mentors, the responsibility for your life ultimately falls on you. And that's a good thing. It means you hold the pen to your story. You decide how it ends. No one else has that power unless you give it to them. Embrace the fact that no one is coming. Let it motivate you to stop waiting, to stop wishing, and to start acting. You have everything you need to climb out of the hole you're in: your mind, your body, your determination. It's all there waiting for you to use it. You don't need a savior. You are your savior. This is your life, your fight, your responsibility, and you are more than capable of rising to the challenge. Your life is your responsibility. This is not a cliche. It's a hard, unshakable truth that demands your full attention. Too often, people point fingers at circumstances, other people, or bad luck as the reasons they're stuck or unhappy. While external factors might contribute to your challenges, they're not the ultimate reason you're where you are. The real reason is how you respond to them, and that's entirely on you. Nobody else is going to take ownership of your life. So why waste time blaming others or looking for someone to share the burden? It's time to own it all: your successes, your failures, your choices, and your potential. Taking responsibility doesn't mean beating yourself up for past mistakes or feeling overwhelmed by the weight of everything on your plate. It means recognizing that you have the power to influence your future, no matter how hard your present might be. When you embrace responsibility, you stop giving your power away. You're no longer at the mercy of circumstances or other people's decisions. You become the one in control, the one steering the ship. Blame is a trap. It feels easy and comforting in the moment because it shifts accountability onto someone or something else. But every time you blame, you give away a piece of your control. You're essentially saying, I can't do anything because this is someone else's fault. That's a lie. You always have a choice. You can always act, adapt, and overcome. When you stop blaming and start owning, you reclaim your ability to make changes. Taking responsibility is not just about what happens to you, it's about how you handle it. Life will throw curveballs, and sometimes those hits will come from places completely out of your control. But what you do next is up to you. You can either wallow in self-pity, wishing things were different, or you can stand up, face the challenge, and figure out a way forward. Owning your response means you're never a victim of circumstance. You're always in the fight, always in control of your next move. This isn't easy, but it's necessary. It takes courage to look at yourself in the mirror and admit that your choices, your actions, and your mindset are the biggest factors shaping your life. But once you do, you'll feel a shift. You'll stop waiting for things to happen and start making them happen. You'll stop hoping for change and start creating it. Responsibility is the foundation of empowerment. It's the mindset that separates those who succeed from those who stagnate. When you take full responsibility, excuses lose their power. You stop saying, I can't, and start asking, how can I? You stop running from challenges and start facing them head on, knowing that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger. You become proactive instead of reactive, a leader instead of a follower. And most importantly, you realize that no matter what happens, you are capable of handling it because you are the one in charge of your life. Pain, struggle, and setbacks are not just unavoidable parts of life, they are essential to growth. Too many people spend their lives running from discomfort, trying to avoid hardship, and hoping for an easy path. But the truth is, the struggle is where the transformation happens. It's where you find out what you're made of. Embracing the struggle isn't about seeking pain for its own sake. It's about understanding that every challenge you face is an opportunity to become stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Life is never going to hand you a smooth, obstacle-free journey. It's going to test you, push you, and sometimes knock you flat on your face. Those moments aren't failures, they're lessons. They're the fire that forges the steel inside you. When you embrace the struggle, you stop seeing difficulties as roadblocks and start seeing them as stepping stones. Each struggle you overcome builds the foundation for your next victory. The problem is, most people shy away from anything that feels hard. They quit at the first sign of difficulty, complaining about how unfair life is or convincing themselves they're not capable. But the truth is, the easy path doesn't lead anywhere worth going. Growth only happens when you push yourself beyond your comfort zone. And that means stepping into the struggle, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's painful. When you embrace the struggle, you shift your mindset. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? You stop fearing failure and start seeing it as feedback, a necessary part of progress. Struggle isn't the enemy. It's the proving ground where you earn your strength, your discipline, and your self-belief. Every time you face a challenge and refuse to back down, you're not just surviving, you're leveling up. Think about the strongest, most successful people you admire. Do you think they got there without struggle? No. They got there because they faced their struggles head on and refused to quit. They saw pain as a teacher, not a punishment. They embraced failure as part of the process. They didn't avoid discomfort, they sought it out, knowing that the only way to grow was to endure it, overcome it, and come out stronger on the other side. The struggle will test you, no doubt about it. There will be moments when you feel like you can't take another step, when your mind is screaming at you to quit. But those moments are where the magic happens. That's where you discover the strength you didn't know you had. That's where you build the resilience that will carry you through anything life throws your way. Stop running from the struggle. Stop wishing it was easier. Lean into it. Face it head on. Because every time you embrace the struggle, you're not just surviving, you're becoming someone stronger, tougher, and more capable than you were before. And that person, that's the one who can achieve anything. Stop chasing the applause. Stop seeking validation from others. The truth is, you don't need anyone's approval to live your life, achieve your goals, or chase your dreams. The constant need for recognition is a trap that keeps you tied to the opinions of others, and it robs you of your power. When you base your actions on what others think, you give them control over your life. You become a puppet, dancing to their expectations instead of living authentically and unapologetically as yourself. Approval is fleeting. One moment people will cheer for you, and the next they might criticize you. Are you going to let that determine your worth? Are you going to let their opinions dictate how hard you push, how far you go, or what you're capable of achieving? If you do, you'll never find true freedom. Real power comes from within. It comes from knowing who you are, what you want, and refusing to let anyone else's judgment sway you. Seeking approval also weakens you. It gives others the ability to lift you up or tear you down with a word, a look, or a lack of recognition. But when you build your confidence from within, no one can take it away from you. You stop depending on applause to fuel you and start relying on your own drive, your own belief in yourself. You become self-sufficient. And that's where true strength lies. I think about how much of your life have you spent trying to impress others? How many decisions have you made because you wanted someone to notice or praise you? And how often has that left you feeling empty, frustrated, or unfulfilled? That's because external approval is a shallow reward. It doesn't last, and it doesn't truly matter. What matters is how you feel about yourself when you're alone, when no one's watching, when there's no applause to distract you. Stop chasing recognition and start chasing excellence. Do the work because it matters to you, because it's aligned with your goals and your values. Push yourself because you want to grow, not because you want a pat on the back. When you live like this, you become unstoppable. You're no longer swayed by the opinions of others, and that's when you truly begin to stand out. Remember, the loudest applause you'll ever hear is the one you give yourself when you've pushed through the hard times, conquered your fears, and stayed true to your path. Seek that feeling, not the fleeting noise of external validation. The world doesn't have to notice your greatness right now, but when you stay consistent and relentless, they'll have no choice but to see it. Too many people fall into the trap of procrastination disguised as preparation. They tell themselves they're waiting to feel ready, waiting to have more resources, or waiting for the right opportunity to show up. But readiness is an illusion. You'll never feel 100% prepared, and you'll never have all the answers up front. Life doesn't work like that. The way you get ready is by starting. The way you figure it out is by doing. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates opportunities. Don't let fear of failure or imperfection hold you back. Starting now doesn't mean starting perfectly. It means starting messy, starting small, but starting nonetheless. Every master began as a beginner. Every champion faced moments of doubt. But what separates them from the rest is that they didn't let those doubts paralyze them. They took that first step no matter how uncertain or unsteady it felt. They understood that progress is born from action, not from endless planning or wishing. Look around at what you have right now. It might not feel like much, but it's enough to get started. Your mind, your body, your determination, those are your most valuable tools. You don't need fancy equipment, ideal circumstances, or a perfect plan to begin. All you need is the willingness to take a step forward. Start with what you have, even if it feels small or insignificant. Those small steps add up, and before you know it, you've covered ground you didn't think was possible. Waiting also robs you of time, and time is your most valuable resource. Every day you hesitate is a day you can't get back. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to take that first step. Momentum is powerful, but so is stagnation. If you let inaction take root, it becomes a habit, and breaking that habit gets harder with every passing day. Don't let fear, doubt, or hesitation steal your future from you. Starting now is also about taking control. When you stop waiting, you stop letting circumstances dictate your life. You reclaim your power and decide that you're in charge of your destiny. You might not have control over every aspect of your situation, but you do have control over your actions. Taking that control is how you build confidence, discipline, and resilience. It's how you prove to yourself that you're capable of facing challenges and creating change. The road ahead might be rough and there will be obstacles, but you don't need the perfect conditions to move forward. You just need the courage to take that first step and the determination to keep going, no matter what. The perfect moment isn't coming, but you don't need it. You are ready now. Start where you are, use what you have, and trust that as you move forward, the path will become clearer. The time is now. Take it. Strength isn't given to you, it's earned. It's forged in the fire of adversity, built through relentless effort, and discovered only when you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Grit is the unyielding determination to keep moving forward, even when every part of you is screaming to stop. It's the refusal to quit, no matter how tough things get or how impossible the odds seem. Developing grit is not just about surviving hardships, it's about thriving because of them. In life, you're going to face challenges that test your limits, both physically and mentally. Most people shy away from those moments. They look for the easy way out, the shortcut, or the excuse to quit. But every time you choose to persevere instead of retreating, you're building a deeper reserve of strength within yourself. Grit is built in those moments when you're tired, when you're discouraged, and when you feel like giving up, but you don't. You take one more step, you push through the discomfort, you keep going. This isn't about being fearless or invincible. It's about showing up despite the fear, despite the pain, and despite the doubts. Grit doesn't mean you won't struggle, it means you won't stop. It's the mindset that says, I will not let this defeat me. I will find a way through. It's knowing that setbacks are temporary and that persistence will always outlast failure. Grit is what separates those who quit when things get tough from those who succeed because they refuse to give up. Developing grit also means embracing the process, not just focusing on the outcome. Too often people give up because they don't see immediate results, but grit is about staying the course even when progress is slow, even when success feels far away. It's about committing to the work, day in and day out, because you know that every small effort adds up. It's about trusting that the grind, the struggle, and the sacrifice will pay off in the long run. Grit isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. Every time you push through a tough workout, tackle a difficult task, or face a fear head on, you're building it. Every time you refuse to give in to excuses, you're strengthening it. Grit is a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows through use. The more you push yourself, the stronger it gets. This is about more than just achieving goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't back down. It's about proving to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws at you. When you develop grit, you don't just survive challenges, you rise above them. You gain a sense of confidence and self-respect that no one can take away from you. You become unstoppable because you've trained yourself to keep going no matter what. Remember, grit isn't about being the strongest or the smartest. It's about being the one who keeps showing up, the one who keeps fighting, the one who refuses to quit. That's the person who achieves greatness. That's the person who wins. So when the going gets tough and it will lean into it. Embrace the struggle and let it mold you into the person you were meant to be. Keep going, keep fighting. That's how grit is built. Consistency is the silent powerhouse behind every great achievement. It's not flashy, it doesn't demand attention, and it rarely gets immediate applause. But it's the engine that drives progress, the foundation that supports success, and the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Showing up every day, no matter how you feel, no matter how hard it is what separates those who talk about their goals from those who live them. Consistency is the key, and without it, talent, ambition, and even opportunity mean nothing. Most people give up too soon because they expect quick results. They want to see immediate rewards for their effort, and when that doesn't happen, they quit. But success doesn't work like that. It's built brick by brick, day by day, through small, deliberate actions that compound over time. It's not the one big effort that changes your life. It's the hundreds, even thousands of small efforts you make consistently. Those are the actions that stack up and create momentum, even when it doesn't feel like it at the moment. The truth is, consistency isn't glamorous. It's hard, repetitive, and often boring. It's waking up early to train when no one's watching. It's putting in the extra hours at work when no one's keeping track. It's sticking to your plan when the excitement wears off, when motivation is gone, and when the grind feels endless. That's where most people fail. They rely on motivation, which is temporary, instead of discipline, which is built through consistency. Discipline says, I'll do it anyway, and that's what keeps you moving forward when everything else tries to pull you back. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you do, you prove to yourself that you're reliable. You're not just making promises, you're keeping them. That builds confidence and a sense of inner strength that carries over into every aspect of your life. You start to believe in yourself not because of some empty mantra, but because you've earned it through action. You've shown yourself that you can commit, stay the course, and achieve results over time. It's not just about putting in the work, it's about putting in the right kind of work over and over again. Consistency gives you the chance to refine your skills, learn from your mistakes, and improve. Every time you show up, you get better. You might not notice it day to day, but over weeks, months, and years, that improvement adds up. Suddenly, you're miles ahead of where you started. Not because you made a giant leap, but because you kept taking small, steady steps. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when it feels like nothing is happening and you wonder if it's all worth it. But those are the days that matter the most. Anyone can show up when it's easy or when they're motivated. The real test is showing up when it's hard. That's what separates the successful from the rest. The grind might not feel rewarding in the moment, but every time you show up, you're investing in yourself, in your future, and in your dreams. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. You'll stumble, you'll have setbacks, and you'll face challenges, but as long as you keep showing up, you'll keep moving forward. Success is not a one-time event. It's the result of doing the right things over and over until they become a part of who you are. Stay consistent, even when it's hard, even when it feels pointless, and even when progress is slow. Because in the end, it's not the most talented or the luckiest who succeed, it's the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who keep going, the ones who keep going, the ones who are consistent. That's the secret. That's the power. And that's what will set you apart. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you start taking control of your life. Excuses are easy. They provide a temporary sense of comfort by allowing you to shift the blame and avoid accountability. They give you a reason to justify your failures, your lack of action, and your inability to push forward. But all they really do is hold you back, trap you in a cycle of self-deception, and keep you stuck in a place you don't want to be. If you want to change your life, you need to stop looking for excuses and start looking for solutions. Excuses are nothing more than stories we tell ourselves to explain why we can't succeed, why we can't take action, or why we haven't achieved our goals. I don't have enough time, I'm too tired, I'm not good enough, the odds are against me. These are the lies that keep you from stepping up to the challenge. The truth is, every single one of these excuses is just a form of self-sabotage. They're rooted in fear, doubt, and the unwillingness to face discomfort. They keep you from realizing your true potential. The harsh reality is that life doesn't care about your excuses. The world won't stop for you to get your act together, and time won't wait for you to feel ready. Opportunities don't come with guarantees, they come with risk, effort, and determination. If you spend your time making excuses, you'll never seize those opportunities, you'll never grow, and you'll never move forward. Excuses don't change your circumstances, they just prolong them. When you stop making excuses, you take full responsibility for your actions and your outcomes. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for every misstep or failure, but it means recognizing that you have the power to change your situation. Every time you make an excuse, you're relinquishing that power. You're saying, I can't because of this reason, when the reality is, you can if you choose to. Breaking free from excuses is about shifting your mindset. Instead of focusing on what's in your way, focus on how you can get around it, how you can work with it, or how you can overcome it. Every problem has a solution, and every obstacle is an opportunity for growth. The moment you stop looking for excuses and start seeking solutions, you'll find that the possibilities are endless. Stop telling yourself that you'll do it tomorrow or when the conditions are right. Stop blaming your circumstances, your upbringing, your past mistakes, or anyone else for your current situation. The only thing standing between you and your goals is your willingness to take action. If you want something, you have to stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect set of conditions. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The time to act is now. Excuses also drain your energy. They make you feel justified in your inaction, but that justification comes at a cost. It steals your potential, your growth, and your future. The more you excuse away, the more you reinforce the belief that you're not capable or that the odds are too stacked against you. But when you take full responsibility and reject excuses, you step into your power. You stop holding yourself back and you start pushing forward no matter what. The truth is, no one is coming to rescue you, and no one is going to give you permission to succeed. You have to take ownership of your life, your dreams, and your actions. Stop waiting for the world to change for you. Stop looking for external factors to blame and start looking within. The only thing stopping you from moving forward is you, and once you make the decision to stop making excuses, nothing can stand in your way. There's no room for excuses in the pursuit of greatness. The road to success isn't smooth, it's not easy, and it won't always be fun, but it is yours for the taking if you're willing to stop making excuses and start taking action. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to where you want to be. You just have to stop standing still, stop making excuses, and start moving. Fear is the biggest thief of potential. It doesn't just hold you back, it paralyzes you. It whispers in your ear all the reasons you can't, shouldn't, or won't succeed. It tells you that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you'll never make it. But the truth is, fear is just an illusion. It's a false narrative that you've allowed to take control of your mind. The most powerful thing you can do in life is to stop letting fear dictate your actions. Fear tries to convince you that it's there to protect you, that it's keeping you safe. It tells you to stay in your comfort zone, to avoid anything that feels uncertain or risky. But what fear really does is keep you from growing. It locks you into a life of mediocrity where you play small, stay invisible, and never push yourself beyond what feels comfortable. The truth is, if you want anything extraordinary in your life, you have to embrace fear. You have to step into the unknown, take risks, and move forward despite the fear. The reality is, fear will never completely disappear. It's a natural human emotion. But what separates those who achieve greatness from those who don't is how they handle fear. You can either let fear control you, or you can control your fear. The more you avoid it, the stronger it gets. The more you run from it, the more it consumes you. But when you face it, when you stare it down and keep moving forward anyway, fear loses its grip. It might still be there, but it no longer has the power to stop you. Fear isn't the problem, it's the way you respond to it. When you choose to act in spite of fear, you show yourself what you're truly capable of. Every time you do something that scares you, you're building courage, confidence, and resilience. You start to realize that fear doesn't have control over you. You realize that you can do hard things, that you can face the unknown and thrive. Think about the times when you were afraid to take that first step. Maybe you were afraid to start a new project, speak in front of a crowd, or confront a difficult challenge, but the moment you took action, the fear started to fade. The moment you pushed through the discomfort, you discovered your strength. Fear is an obstacle that only exists in your mind. It's a challenge, not a roadblock. And it's a challenge that you can face and overcome every single time. One of the greatest myths about fear is that it's a sign of weakness. In reality, fear is an opportunity for growth. It's a signal that you're pushing boundaries, stretching yourself, and moving towards something greater. The most successful people in the world are the ones who learn to embrace fear as a part of the process, not as something to avoid. They're the ones who felt the fear, acknowledged it, and took action anyway. They understood that fear is a part of the journey, not the end of it. If you're waiting for fear to go away before you take action, you'll be waiting forever. Fear doesn't disappear, it shifts. You'll always face new challenges, new uncertainties, and new risks. But each time you act in the face of fear, it becomes a little easier. You start to see fear for what it truly is, just a feeling, not a fact. And the more you face it, the more you realize that you have the strength to overcome anything. Stop allowing fear to stop you. Fear is not the enemy. It's a sign that you're growing, stretching, and stepping into new territory. The only way to beat fear is to face it head on. So take that step. Do that thing that scares you. Keep going even when the fear is there. Because on the other side of fear lies everything you've ever wanted. It's time to stop letting fear control you. It's time to take control of your life. Fear can't stop you unless you let it. You are the only one who can determine your limits. The world, the people around you, and even your own doubts will try to tell you what you can and can't do. They'll set boundaries for you, create barriers, and convince you that certain things are out of your reach. But the truth is, the only real limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. You have the power to break through any barrier, surpass any expectation, and redefine what's possible for your life. The moment you accept that there are no limits but the ones you allow, your entire perspective shifts. No longer are you confined by what others say or what you've been told is possible. You start to see every obstacle as an opportunity and every challenge as a stepping stone to something greater. Your potential is limitless, but you have to believe in it, trust in it, and be willing to fight for it. So many people settle for what they think they can do instead of what they're truly capable of. They take the easy road because they believe it's the only one they can walk, or they stop pushing when things get tough, thinking they've reached their limit. But the truth is, limits are often self-imposed. They're based on what you believe about yourself, not what you're actually capable of achieving. The most successful, resilient people didn't let circumstances or the doubts of others define their limits, they defined their own. They pushed through their fears, broke through the mental walls, and kept going even when it seemed impossible. Limits are often built on fear, on the belief that failure is something to avoid at all costs. But failure is just a part of the process. It's not a sign of weakness or inability. It's proof that you're trying, that you're growing, and that you're pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable. The people who succeed are the ones who fail more often than others, not because they're lucky, but because they refuse to be stopped by their own limits. They use failure as fuel, not as a reason to quit. You need to stop seeing challenges as things that hold you back and start seeing them as opportunities to break your own barriers. Every time you face a difficult situation, you have a choice. You can either let it defeat you or you can use it to push yourself to the next level. The moment you decide that nothing can hold you back is the moment you start seeing your true potential. Your limits aren't determined by anyone else, they're determined by how. Here's the hard truth, nobody is coming to help you. You're the one responsible for your journey, your success, your dreams. The world doesn't owe you anything. But here's the beauty in that you have the power to create everything you want. You have the strength to break every boundary, overcome every fear, and push past every limit. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is your willingness to take action. So stop waiting, stop making excuses. Stop letting fear control you. It's time to take full ownership of your life, your choices, and your future. You're the one who gets to decide how far you go and how hard you fight. Life isn't going to hand you success, you have to earn it. But if you show up every day with relentless determination, if you refuse to quit, If you put in the work, no matter how tough it gets, you'll find that there are no limits to what you can achieve. The world is full of distractions, setbacks, and doubters, but the one person who will never leave you is you. You are your own greatest ally. So step into your power, keep moving forward, and never let anyone, especially yourself, convince you that you can't. Because when you stop waiting, stop making excuses, and stop being afraid, you unlock the version of yourself that's capable of achieving greatness. Now go out there and make it happen, because the only person who can stop you is the one you look at in the mirror.